you have one other little mental model hack that I heard when you spoke live one time, and I just saw the whole room when you shared this, like, oh wow, that's a game changer right there. I believe you call it the 5 minute rule. Can you
Yeah.
share that?
Yeah, so it's called the 5 minute rule, and then there's also the can't change it mantra that kind of piggybacks on it. And first, let me explain what this is for, right? Like setting the stage here. Human beings, we experience emotional pain, right? Whether it's the form of anger or upset or sad or scared or frustrated or whatever. We experience emotional turmoil that can either make us just unhappy and not enjoy life, or it throws us off and we're not able to be at our best. And so when I was in sales, my mentor taught us that it was like day 2 of training. I was at Cutco Cutlery. I was 19, and he said, it's to this day, this is maybe the most valuable lesson I've ever learned. So I appreciate you asking about it. But he said, sales is a microcosm for life's adversity at an accelerated rate. Meaning the average person faces rejection occasionally. The salesperson faces it multiple times a day. He said the average person fails occasionally, like maybe once a year they fail to reach a goal. The salesperson fails regularly, all the time. You fail, you don't hit your goal for the day, you don't hit your quota for the week, for the month, for the quarter, right? He said, so you need a strategy to quickly move through the emotional turmoil, the icky feelings that cause you to doubt yourself or want to quit sales because you're like, I hate the way it feels. I got rejected 6 times today. I hate this. I don't want to do it anymore. He said, you need called a mental model, right? Or a strategy to move through it. And so he taught us the 5 minute rule. And he said, as anytime you experience a setback, rejection, failure, disappointment, he said, set your timer on your phone for 5 minutes and literally give yourself 5 minutes to fully experience and express the emotions that are coming up for you. He said, we often suppress them because you're like, I don't have time for that. I'm just going to, I got to get on the phone, or I don't want to look weak in front of my peers. So I'm just going to act like it's no big deal. Right. And he said, that's not healthy, right? That shit comes out sideways, pardon my French. But he said,
Yeah.
he said, give yourself 5 minutes to bitch, moan, complain, cry, vent, punch a wall, like whatever you got to do. Fully, this sucks. I can't believe that he did that to me. This is BS. I needed that goal, whatever. And he said, get it out. And when the timer goes off after 5 minutes, you say 3 very powerful, liberating words, which are can't change it. And it's a simple acknowledgement that, okay, I can't change whatever happened 5 minutes ago. So right now I got a choice. I can continue to dwell on it, be upset about it, although that doesn't change it. So I'm not actually doing anything productive. I'm just I'm perpetuating that inner turmoil. Or I can choose to accept what happened exactly as it is. I might not be happy about it, but the choice is about being at peace with it. I can't change it. So my only logical, intelligent option is to accept it and be at peace so that I can take a deep breath. That sucks, but it's over. It's in the past. I can't change it. I didn't hit my goal. I lost some money, whatever. All I can do is focus on what's in my control now to move forward. And so I started applying it right away. And I remember the first time I set the timer for 5 minutes and it went off and I was like, I'm still pissed. Like 5 minutes is not long enough, right? And I like snoozed a few times. But after a couple of weeks, Brad, here's what happens for people. Because if you're listening and you're like, I get this kind of, but I don't get how setting a timer and it going off is going to make me not upset. That was how I felt. Here's what happened. Those 5 minutes are an opportunity to elevate your consciousness. So you're now experiencing emotion, but you're aware that there's a countdown. You're aware that you're working on getting to a place of acceptance where you acknowledge that you can't change the thing that happened. So you're going to choose to be at peace. And the first few times it might take you 15 or 20 minutes to get there, but you do eventually get there, right? Because emotions are energy in your body and they do eventually die down. So, and it might take you a while. We're like 5 minutes, not enough time. Great. So 15, 20. But here's what happened. I remember it. It was like two weeks into my Cutco career. And this woman called and canceled the biggest order I had ever had. And it made me, I was number 1 rep in the office. I was about to get recognized that week and I didn't hit my goal now. I wasn't going to get recognized. I wasn't number 1. It was a huge loss. And I set my timer. It was 9 o'clock at night that she called and canceled her order. And I remember, I can picture my apartment. I set the timer and I'm like, I can't believe she did this. Like, God, I needed that order. I was number one. What am I going to do? I mean, all I can do is get on the phone tomorrow and make more calls. And I like had this sense of like the emotion started to leave me. And I picked up my phone and there was 4 minutes and 32 seconds left on my timer. And that was a life-changing moment, Brad, because I was like, wait a minute. If I'm going to get to the point where I say can't change it and I accept it, what's the point in feeling upset for the next 4.5 minutes when I could just say can't change it now? And it was like this radical, like my brain was like, I'm like, is this okay? Should I stay upset? Like I was trying to like, and I was like, no, wait a minute. Not only is 5 minutes long enough, dude, I think I just need 5 seconds now. I just need to like, let me scream or curse or whatever. And I'm going to then say can't change it and move on. And I've since applied that to traffic. I'm like, I'm in traffic either way. Why get upset? I was diagnosed with cancer a few years ago and given a 20% chance of living. I'm like, I can't change it. I might as well be at peace and focus on how I'm going to survive for my family. Like this from the mundane, like traffic to losing a loved one to being told you're going to die. I've applied this strategy to choose to accept the things I can't change and be at peace with my reality exactly as it is. And there is a new chapter in the new book called The Miracle Life where I go really deep into unpacking this because I call this is the key to inner freedom, where you can be completely free to choose the optimal state that would best serve you, even in the midst of the most difficult time in your life. So that's the 5-minute rule.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And just if we clip that section and people take that idea and run with it, that is a life changer. It really is. And where my head went as you were walking through that, there's a level of stoicism in there of, and then I know like the serenity prayer that people, practice in Alcoholics Anonymous, but it's basically like the only true thing you can control in your life are your actions. You can't, a lot of people, it's raining outside, it's the weather, something completely out of their control, and it ruins their whole day. They're wasting all this energy against this immovable force. And I saw it happen. You mentioned your cancer scare. We literally were scheduled to record our first ever podcast. And it was right at that time you hit me up. You're like, dude, I'm so sorry, but like, I've got a massive health scare. And I don't remember if you told me it was cancer right at that point or not, but I found out later. And we delayed our first interview for over a year as you were going through that. And as a friend that had, connected with you at Front Row Dads, obviously wanted to support you. But what was so powerful for me as a human was seeing you weren't just a guy that talked about this stuff, because unfortunately there are some authors and thought leaders or gurus or whatever you want to label them, that it's kind of like, here's what happens on stage and then here's like their real life, and they're not really congruent.
Yeah.
And the powerful thing that I saw it probably the most difficult time in your life, you actually taking your work, applying it, and how it impacted how you showed up for your family, for your wife, your kids, and how you took a really horrible situation you wouldn't wish on anybody, and you actually like showed up like a leader in your home. So I don't know that I've ever shared that with you, but that personally impacted me because I saw you actually put your work into action. So I love that about you, man. I love that you live it.
I appreciate that very much.